Sweet surrender as I love, serve, and remember.
Does it make you want to do something, move forward in life? There's a mission that's driving us forward. And what happens when we start to feel that energy is we feel vitality. We feel alive. I don't think it's an accident that in Hinduism, they have different stages, and the lowest stage is called tamasic, and that's where we have very low energy and we're not active. Yogananda said, this is the Hindu teaching that he was talking about, that even doing action and in the wrong direction is better than no action. Because you can, if you have the energy going and you're going in the wrong direction, it can easily move you. But when you're sedentary and you're just sitting there and you're not doing much of anything, including you're not doing much inwardly either, inward work counts, that it's very hard to just get up and do the right thing. So just get moving, getting that action going. Mission Possible. How many of you have seen at least one of the Mission Impossible movies? All right. High action. And what is it they always say? The very beginning of the movie, I guess it was a TV show, I didn't see the TV show. They say, here's your mission. So the mission is clearly stated before them, should you choose to accept it. No one is forced to accept being on a mission. No one is forced to say, you have to do this. You have to show up in the world and move forward. It is always our choice. And the way we choose to accept our mission is by showing up. Showing up is like 90% of it. You can't say, for instance, I accept my mission, and I'll try to work it into my schedule sometime in the next month, right? If you accept your mission, you've started, and that becomes your priority, and your life gets scheduled into getting that mission done. That's how important missions are. They are not secondary. They are not just, oh, when I have time. Oh, when I work out, did my inner issues, then I'll go on my mission. So your mission, you choose to accept it, you show up, and you make it your priority. Okay, that's it. So everybody has their own individual missions, and there's multiple. You can have a lifetime of having multiple missions. So like even in the Mission Impossible movies, you could say, I think he worked for the CIA. I'm not quite sure, I only saw the first one. Well, I know I saw another one, but it was just a little, not enough story for me. But I think he worked for the CIA. Well, let's just pretend he did. So the CIA has its mission, but then he gets a specific and particular mission. So what we would say is there's a vision for our life that is always there, but then we have, that's an internal presence. But the mission is in time and space, and it can be, you can have more than one vision simultaneously or different times. You complete one mission, and when that's complete, you move on to another mission. So it doesn't take up all of your life. I mean, it's not one mission, you're trying to find one mission for your whole life. It's like, what's my mission now? So we all have our individual missions. We all have different stages of our life where we have missions. However, today I am giving you your mission that is for everybody. So everyone has one general mission. And I think you already know because you know the title of today's talk, I think, which is You Are Chosen. The mission is for you to choose being you. And that's actually a really big deal. That it's a big deal that you are you on your planet. You've heard, be yourself, nobody else, everyone else is taken. But to really show up as you and know that that's a powerful, life-transforming choice to be made every single day. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, said something that actually mirrored something that I heard Reverend Michael Beck would say back in the 90s. But Reverend Michael was coming from a spiritual perspective, but Tyson was saying, we have, there's been 100 billion people that have lived on this planet in total. 100 billion people. He said if you look at all the gene combinations that could make an authentic human being, the number is so huge, astronomical, from an astrophysicist, that you can't come up with the number. So the fact is the fact that we're even here is huge. It's like this astounding fact that there have been only 100 billion of us that have ever had the opportunity to be on this planet. The way Reverend Michael talked about it was more from a spiritual perspective, that there's a lot of beings want to be on this planet, but only a few get chosen. So to be here, no matter how hard our life is, no matter what the challenges are for us in our journey, the fact that we can come here and really work on it and work on transforming our life and being a participant on this planet is huge. So this idea that we're chosen is not a small thing. It is not just here. It's like from this big cosmic world, we were chosen. Currently, there's 8 billion people on the planet. All 8 billion of us are chosen, but we have to choose to accept that we're chosen. We have to make that choice. So one of the groups that I've always found interesting, the religious cultural group of Judaism. Probably I was tuned in because my dad had me go to a Jewish Montessori school when I was a kid, because he believed, or it wasn't a belief, it's just what he witnessed, was that in so many areas he found that the Jewish people that he knew always did really well. They really showed up. And so he was hoping it would rub off on me. So he put me into a Jewish Montessori. And then I remember Joseph Chilton Pierce. He wrote The Crack of the Cosmic Egg. He's a big part of the whole natural childbirth movement. And he wrote a book on biology of transcendence. And I remember listening to a lecture on him, and he started talking about why is it that these Jewish people have had such an impact on our world. And I was reading Houston Smith, Judaism. He's saying that, this world was filled with indigenous tribes, small groups of people. That's what this planet was covered with in ancient times. This little tribe has had such an impact on world history. Why? There's been a big question. Why do we know about this one tribe more than most? Even when they existed, they were insignificant. There was Egypt, who had already built the pyramids by the time they were around. Yeah, Babylon, Phoenicia was colonizing people. And this was just some unknown little tribe, like a lot of little tribes, and they got pushed around a lot. They were apparently fairly insignificant. The way I would look at it in modern times is it would be like looking at a third world country. And a third world country that only is very small, like Canaan, I think it's Canaan and not Canaan, back in the ancient times, was the size of 1/8 of the state of Illinois. It was very tiny physically, and even before that, there were nomads. They were a very small number of people. So when I say like a small third world country, as citizens of America, how much do we think about a tiny little third world country? We might not even know it exists, or if it is, often, sadly, sometimes we use third world countries for our labor, for inexpensive labor. Other ways we look at third world countries is there are people we go to serve, we go build houses, we help them build wells. There are people to help. But we don't look at third world countries as, oh, those are the chosen people and they're special, right? Then that would never, we don't go to a third world country and say, teach us about life. So that's what the Jewish tradition was. They were around people who built pyramids, who did extraordinary things, and this is a little tribe. They weren't significant for anything. So how is it that this little tribe has had such a huge impact on the world? And so, of course, we look at, because what we have learned, and that's so much a basis of what our teaching, are beliefs. And their beliefs and understanding of a God, that there was one God, or primarily one God. That was a significant difference. But they were important to this God. If you look at paganism, the Greek and the Romans, they were all their gods were kind of indifferent to humanity. And humanity was kind of like their playthings almost. And we're constantly trying to appease those gods. And you weren't certainly trying to to build a relationship, a loving relationship with them. In Judaism, it is very clear that the Jewish people was very important to the Creator. In fact, they were the Creator's heart. There was this deep, abiding love. You know, and this is an important thing because I learned, especially when I came into New Thought, because I didn't have a lot of Christian training in this degree, but that I kept hearing that the loving God was in the New Testament and the angry, judgmental God was the Old Testament. And I remember thinking, I don't think my Jewish friends thought their God was an I and judgmental God, but that was certainly how I learned it, the Bible. That's the angry, and we're the loving God. So, and I was not a huge Bible person, just so we're clear. So I didn't have a lot of attachment one way or the other. And then I was in ministerial school, and our assignment was to read the Bible in 10 weeks. It was a beginning class, so it was like, just get a sense of what's in the Bible. So for the next 10 weeks, I had to ask 3 times, like, is that really the assignment to read the Bible? So, and like I said, I'm not invested in the Bible. I wasn't looking for anything. I had no agenda. I was just trying to get my assignment done. I was taking 4 other classes at the same time and working full time. I was not engaged in the way that I might be today. So I'm just reading through it quickly. And I had this lightning flash of realization. As I'm getting closer to the end of the Old Testament, I'm like, holy smokes, God really loves these people. Like, in my mind, I had heard, this is the angry and judgmental God. The overarching feeling of this Bible is that this God loves the people, never abandons them, is always there. They have their fights. They have their battles, just like they had a dysfunctional relationship. So you might be in a relationship with somebody, and just because there's anger or there's lack of understanding in that relationship, but the love is still there, and that love is so transcendent. As I read through that, it was so transcendent, and it was so ever-present. I thought, wow. And I got the loving God that my Jewish friends feel connected to. And it's a relationship. It's not a using. It's a relationship of deep and abiding love and care. That makes a big difference. That's a huge thing on this planet, is to say the creator of all of the universe loved itself into being through us. And of course, we have all heard, or most of you may have heard, that God told the Jewish people that they were chosen. Now, interestingly, a lot of tribes thought they were the special ones. That's not unusual. But they were special in that they were loved. And with that specialness came a responsibility for this planet. If you were that loved, I just, Julie and Jack were talking about different inspiring sports movies that we've watched. And one of the things that I've noticed in so many of these movies is that it's the best players that the coaches are the hardest on. Because they say, I believe in you, I can see what you're capable of, and you're not living up to your capability, so I'm going to push you a little bit harder to live up to your capability. Well, if you believe that that, as the Jewish people said, you are chosen, and it's from love, and it's purposeful, and it's meaningful. It's just not the demigods who are just sort of using people and sort of their playthings. But no, you are the center, most important thing in the world to me. I've chosen you into existence. And what does that do for our sense of who we are and what this world is? And what we know is that all 100 billion people have lived on this planet, and all 8 billion people that are alive now have been chosen. Every single one of you have been chosen to be here. You are not an accident. You are not a chaotic experience just showing up for no reason. That you came into this planet, are birthed into this planet because you were chosen from love, out of love, as an expression of love, as an expression of creative expression. And what would it be like if you started living you all have been doing it to some extent, but we're stepping into it even more and saying, what would it be like if I accepted my mission that I'm chosen every day. Like I wake up in the morning and I stand in the power that I have been created by the infinite love intelligence of the universe, that which created trillions of galaxies, created me intentionally from love and is living through me today. I am chosen to be here, and I show up with that intentionality and that awareness of who and what I am as made in the image and likeness of God. You are made in the image and likeness of pure spirit. You are made in the image and likeness of the infinite love intelligence of the universe. You are made in the image of pure love. To live that way is an incredible mission on this earth. To live knowing that you know that you are meant to be here. Another interesting aspect of the Jewish teaching, religion, is that for a lot of different religions that were coming about, it was either learning about the pagan gods and appeasing them, doing different things, but there's also in Hinduism and later on Buddhism is a sense of transcendence, that we're trying to get somewhere. And even Christianity is a lot of like, let's get to heaven. Judaism was very clear. We are not a waiting room for heaven. Earth is not a waiting room for another place for us to go to. We're here to make this heaven. We're here to make earth heaven. And so what often you will see the Jewish culture and tradition are very participatory and involved here. They're not trying to leave here. They're trying to make here as best that they can, which is why they're interested in social action and social justice and feeding the hungry and science and philosophy. Wherever there is a sense of, no, we're going to do the best we possibly can and bring this excellence. And again, it's not that they're any different other than the belief that we're here to do this, and we're chosen, you're chosen, when we start to show up and say, I'm chosen to bring heaven and earth here. How does that shift our sense of why we're here? My mission is not just something to fill up my time while I'm here, while I'm waiting to go to heaven. My mission is my heaven. My mission is my heaven, which is to create heaven on earth everywhere I am, to make the world a better place. Yeah? Yes. I love the yes. Choosing ourselves. And of course, this can look in so many different ways. And so there's a million different examples, but Mother Teresa is one of them. It's just, she gave her life as a mission to serve other people. Doesn't mean that, since she died, I've read different sort of negative things about Mother Teresa. I've also read negative things about Gandhi. And then also, not just negative things, but also her letters to her mentor were revealed, and like, oh, she had depression, she was depressed. And here's the thing, people are like, oh, she was human. Oh my gosh, that terrible person. So forget all the great things that she did, she was still human, so let's do everything we can to take her down a few notches. Rather than she came on this earth participating with her whole heart, body, mind, and soul, to make the world a better place, to make heaven as much as she possibly can for the poorest of the poor. And she did that through various missions in her life, different things that she was focused on, and she had to be strong, and she had to be tough, and she was. That was her mission. We have Mother Teresa, we have, you can both do self-fulfilling things like David Alt, who climbed Kilimanjaro and now he's in India and building orphanages and digging wells. You can be someone like Jesse Itzler, who last year created the Running Man, climbing Mount Everest, 4 of those, rode his bicycle across country with 10 people, created the Hell on the Hill. Everyone, he invites tons of people to come and join him. Everyone's invited, it's democratic. The last person, when he was on Hell on the Hill, the last person who finished was a woman who was my size, who was doing this Hell on the Hill. And you can walk, run. And by the end, No one's clapping for her. They're running with her. You don't show up at his events as a clapper, as a bystander. If you show up to participate. And he just keeps creating it, and everyone there is participating, and he's creating community. Everyone leaves and says, oh my gosh, I created friendships for life. And the reason why I get mesmerized, but I'm like, this is church, or this is spiritual community that he's doing and creating, and everyone is participating. Everybody has a role. Everyone is chosen because they've self-chosen themselves. When we show up as ourselves, knowing that we are chosen every single day, and we accept our mission, we just might, in fact, create heaven on earth. Let's pray. And how grateful we are to just consciously recognize that there is only one power and one presence. There is, even as we talk about various groups or people, that behind all of us, behind all 100 billion people, behind all form and creation, behind all the galaxies, behind galaxies and beyond galaxies, is this one power, this one presence, this one love that is transcendent and free and unlimited and has no past precedent, and that is pure bliss and joy. And that this infinite, eternal, transcendent presence is imminent and in, through, and as all creation, through all creation. It is here now. That heaven on earth is alive and awake as each and every one of us, as we choose to accept that mission of being ourself. We choose to choose ourselves. And when we do that, we have sought the kingdom of heaven. We have sought God first. And what we know is when we seek that I am presence within us first, foremost, and always, all things shall be added. All things shall be added as we begin and start and live from the I am that I am. In this truth, we know that heaven on earth is already unfolding in, through, and as all the 8 billion I ams, the plants, the animals, the earth, the minerals, the sky, the I am, has said yes to itself and is even now creating heaven on earth as us now. In deep abiding gratitude and everlasting joy for this word that is spoken, this word that is already fulfilled, I just say thank you. Thank you, God. In deep abiding joy and everlasting peace, we release this word into the arms of pure energy and pure love, and we let it be, knowing it is done, and so it is.
I walk in God in all I do. I walk in God in all that I say.